Reality doesn't change, we change. And so this is going to be a short live. I'm going to be going over 3 different ways that we can assure that we are the ones shifting and we are not waiting for reality to shift. I think I saw a dog die yesterday. We were just sitting inside, Brilliant and I heard these really weird screams. And at first I thought it was just like kind of girls playing around, but they were just weird screams. So I walked outside and they were super loud, and literally right in front of my neighbor's house, so essentially right in front of my house, this lady was screaming bloody murder. So I kind of like walk around the corner to see what was going on, and there's 2 pit bulls, like gigantic pit bulls, like the big kind. I don't even know. There's like normal sized pit bulls, and this was the ones that are like big and beefy and thick pit bulls, and they were both chewing on like a little tiny dog. Like the dog was like the size of their head, and they were both like ripping this dog apart. There was blood everywhere. And as soon as I walked outside, the first thing I saw was my neighbor, who was a guy, just like back up. He was like scared, so he wasn't going to do anything. The owner of the little dog was just screaming her head off. She wasn't doing anything, just watching it all. There was nobody else in sight, so I went up and I broke it all up. Basically just me. Then the owner of the dog, which is a few houses away, came running up. Apparently the dogs escaped. They're in this fight. I'm swinging the more aggressive one around by its tail because it was trying to bite me. Got a hold of its tail. Anyways, that little dog was messed up, and it was really difficult to see. It was super difficult to see. A dog probably didn't make it through the night. It lost a lot of blood. Looked like its pelvis was broken. Its whole entire face was kind of ripped up. The point I'm making there, though, is that these things happen in life. And if we're just kind of taking everything as they come, almost like they're happening to us as a victim, and never asking the questions about like, how does this apply to me? Like seemingly unrelating things to myself. But one of the things that we can do to change ourselves, because we talk about things like ascension, we talk about things like evolving and even self-development, has nothing to do with reality. However, there's a lot of waiting, right? Like we're waiting for 5D. 5D doesn't come from outside. 5D comes from our relationship shift with reality itself. 5D is already happening. There's multiple dimensions, even beyond 5D, that are happening now. And so it's not so much of reality shifting into 5D or there being a solar flare that all of a sudden is like a switch and everybody changes. It's something that happens internally. And there's steps that we can take to set us up for that. Because even if there is something like a solar flare and there is a light switch that's flipped or the poles shift, it's going to be very difficult for those who aren't capable. They don't have the capacity to handle the influx of information. So if we go into this 5D rate, it's an accelerated rate. It's another dimension, it's another density. So it'd be like going from 2-dimensional, like looking at a picture, to a high def virtual reality 3-dimensional landscape. Like there's more dimension. And at this density, we have an ability to perceive different times, because time's all existing now. So we can travel through time. We can also travel through bodies. We can feel what others feel, and we can know the thoughts and think as a group collective. And that's essentially the extra accelerated rate of, I'm using technical terminology here. It's the bit rate of our consciousness needs to handle more. Currently, we can handle, it's very low. We can handle like 120 to 180 bits of information. That's our processing power in our conscious mind. So what that means is I can have a conversation with, this is actually a one-sided conversation, but if you imagine me having a conversation with you, and then also there was somebody else in my room that I'm also having a conversation with. Every conversation is about 60 bits of information. Well, having a conversation takes a whole lot of focus away from us, right? It'd be like having a conversation and watching a movie, which is similar to a conversation, at about the max, right? 120. That's 120 bits of processing power. That's about at the max of our consciousness. We try to put another conversation in on top of that. So we're watching a movie, having conversation with the person on the left of us, conversation with the person on the right of us. That's maximizing what we can consciously focus on. If somebody walks in the door in that moment, we're going to not really be able to focus on it. It's like yesterday, there's two dogs attacking another dog. I'm grabbing the biggest, most aggressive one. First, I grab him by the collar because his mouth was tied onto the dog. So I was trying to get rid of the bite. So I grab him by the collar and I twist it and I pull. He actually let go, but then he went to go grab me. So I let go of that, and then he went back to the dog. Meanwhile, I'm paying attention to the other dog, and then eventually I just grabbed the big one's tail before I stuck my fingers up his butt, which is going to be my next option. But I just grabbed his tail. He let go, and I grabbed the tail. Then he turned to lunge at me because I had the tail. I could swing him around, and I'm looking at the other dog. But then as I'm swinging him around, Carolina's running up, and she kind of like falls back, like literally falls back. I couldn't pay attention to that because I'm handling two dogs. Anyways, so we have capacity limits that aren't that much, is what I'm telling you. We can pay attention to like 2, maximum 3 things at once. It's not a lot when we think about like what the actual ability of our body is, even just our eyeballs, looking at a bunch of different things. Imagine the computing processing power it would take to focus, refocus, move, distinguish between colors. All of this is taking tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of processing power. Just in our eyes. And so our whole body, depending on where you look, is processing millions of bits of information. Like our blood is going through our body. I'm balancing right now. So our subconscious or unconscious is processing a lot more. If we opened up our consciousness to that, it would be overload. You guys understand that if all of a sudden we were aware of cells eating other cells in our body and the pain and the struggle of that and what our intestines are doing and how it's breaking apart things and the skin growth all over our body, what our saliva glands are doing, producing saliva. If we were aware of all that, we would max out, right? So it's the same thing with going into another dimension of reality. It's not so much about reality shifting because reality is already happening at this crazy amount of accelerated way. That's not the word I was looking for, but it's way beyond our current perspective to even comprehend. So it's not that reality shifts, we shift. And so the 5D, the portal, is really a shift in us. So one way that we can do that, and I've got 3 that I would like to go over. One way is to look at it, and you guys have heard this before, look at everything happening as if it's happening for you. And so yesterday, event happens. It's not very easy to look at and to be a part of. That lady watched her dog die. We watched her watch her dog die. And what does that mean? What does that mean for me? And so we ask questions like that. Like, why was this revealed to me? Like, what is the revelation here? And so I've got this little one right here, right? And she spent many weeks with her mom in bed. And a couple of days ago was like her revelation to the world. She went to her first grocery store yesterday. She went to her first restaurant yesterday. So she basically just came out into the world for the first time yesterday. And if you guys look at movies, which is really just based on like old archetypal philosophy that rings true to us, that's why there's like the hero's journey and all these archetypal energies within movies, because it's truly human. But in movies, you see things like old people dying, and it symbolizes that it allows for the breath of new life, right? So sometimes at the end of movies, like the hero dies, but they left behind a child, right? And so their lover was pregnant while the hero dies, and it allows us to feel good about that ending of the movie because it's complete, because it's real. That's actually how energy works in this reality. And so, and that's also where like ancient, where we don't really understand human sacrifices and things like that have been all contorted, right? Because we get told that these ancient tribes are savages and they would do human sacrifices. They're like, that's where all of that cycle comes in. And so for me, we went through that pretty difficult situation yesterday. It was risky too, because we're bringing in a new birth of life, and the universe had to balance itself out. And that's what happened. And so just look at things magically like that. That's one way to shift and to ascend. Look at every situation as this cycle being revealed to you, and you understanding and having a relationship with that allows you to participate in 5D matters. What's up, Chef Coco? Guys, if anybody, I know that you're up maybe in Santa Cruz right now, Chef Coco 108. But guys, on Wednesday, Human Garage and Vivo Barefoot have teamed up and we're doing a canyon hike. So message me, just DM me, and I'll get you the details of that. Wednesday morning this week. I'll be there, and yeah, we always do free events, and they're always super fun. It's going to be 3 hours long, and just a lot of amazing networking, because the people that come to these events are amazing, high class, aware, health and wellness, consciousness oriented, and just like they just love life, and it's good energy. So you guys are in LA, hit me up. I'll get you the details about that. It's free as well. Okay, so number 2 is quit doing. Like, we always make to-do lists. Like, this is what I need to do today. And that's because we feel that we need to manipulate reality. Reality doesn't need to be manipulated. Reality, as we know it, has already been manifested. This has all been manifested. And so working in the non-physical space, not yet manifested, is really where a true creator, a true wise, responsible, ascended person, humanoid, operates. They operate, got one foot in the manifested, one foot in the unmanifested. So an easy way to do that is with feelings. So even though a to-do list is good, action is good, have that, but don't just have that. Make sure that you also have a to-feel list. How would I like to feel with everything? Even like, I've got a meeting today. I need it to go good. I need to do all of this in order for it to go good. Let's not forget, how would I like to feel in the meeting? I have to make a phone call. I have to go on a date. I have to drive across the country to visit my son. Like, all of these things that we have to do, if we're just focused on the doing, we're missing out on that extra dimension of feeling. And so make sure that you're feeling, because in these accelerated dimensions, there's a lot of feelings. Eventually, talking like this stops happening because it's inefficient. And so make sure that you are being responsible for your feelings. Have a to-feel list that goes along with all of your to-do lists. So that's the second thing that we can do to prepare ourselves for the accelerated rates of a dimensional upgrade, whether it's an ascension process, whether it's a solar flare, whether it's a pole shift, whether it's a world war, whether it's another pandemic, whether it's the Lumerians and Atlanteans coming out of the inner earth and showing us what's up, or whether it's the Arcturians and Pleiadians, and maybe there's a war between them and the reptilians, and yada, yada, yada. Whatever it is, and it's going to probably be different for all of us because it's happening for us and through us. Make sure that you're aware of your feelings. How would I like to feel in this situation, right? Think about what happened in 2020. A lot of people feeling all sorts of ways. Some of us consciously selected that feeling. I can't imagine that somebody would consciously select fear and panic, and I'm going to I'm going to call on my neighbors. All of that stuff is like anti-human. So make sure that no matter what's happening, you're choosing your feelings. So number 3 is how we relate to our problems. And just like being aware of our feelings is important, being aware of the leaks in our boat, being crystal clear on them and what we're going to do about them. Because if we got leaks on the boat that we're ignoring, those leaks are going to destroy the boat, and it's going to it's going to sink the ship that we're all on. And we're actually doing that in this next week's self-expansion practice. Anti-Christic. Yeah, it's antibiotic. So be aware of the problems. We're doing a problem exercise in self-expansion practice. You get 7 days free, SelfExpansion.app. Going to film that either today or tomorrow morning. Then it's going to be the new one that gets released next week. We do a new one every single week. It's a psychological reprogramming drill. And then we go into breathwork, movement, meditation to really, I'll use this word, crystallize and encode that vibration into our being. And we work with all sorts of things. This week, we're working with our problems. And so those are the 3 things that we can do to prepare ourselves and to really shift ourselves into our most ascended, greatest version of self. It's not that reality is going to happen. We are not a passive player in this, guys. We are it. We are the 5D shift. We are the ascension. The harvest happens when we decide to harvest, when we decide to reap the rewards of the fruit that we are. And if you're in LA on Wednesday, hit me up and let's go have a walk and talk with Human Garage and Vivo Barefoot. All right, guys, take care. And it was fun chatting with ya.